The information on this YouTube channel is not intended or implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. All content including text, graphics, images, and information contained on or available through this YouTube channel is for general information purposes only. Somebody Gotta Say This Shit makes no representation and assumes no responsibility for the accuracy of information contained on or available through this YouTube channel, and such information is liable to change without notice. One is encouraged to confirm any information obtained from or through this YouTube channel from other sources and review all information regarding any medical condition and/or treatment with a physician. Never disregard professional medical advice and/or delay seeking treatment because of the information accessible on this YouTube channel. Somebody Gotta Say This Shit does not recommend, endorse, or make any representation about the efficacy, appropriateness, and/or suitability of any specific test, products, procedures, services, opinions, healthcare providers, and/or other information that may be accessible on this YouTube channel. Somebody Gotta Say This Shit is not responsible nor liable for any advice, course of treatment, diagnosis, and/or any other information, services, and/or products obtained through the information accessible on this YouTube channel. Somebody Gotta Say This Shit.
The following program is rated TVMA. Viewer discretion is advised.
Somebody gotta say this shit, so piss a bitch. Fuck your government. I'm hesitant to holler out that I'm in. I represent hollow points and Mac tears. Don't think two shots coming out of them. Last thing that you see is Nat Turner's grin. I'm a savage, not your average white boy, my friend. We ain't shooting. Fuck red, white, and blue. Earth day nerve like militias in the booth. Spit that word like the wisdom in the tooth. Get that herb like I need a blunt or two. Fuck y'all all, each and every one of you. You niggas wanna stay asleep? Fuck you motherfuckers too. All you niggas ain't loyal. Fuck the government soil. Bring heat to the planet, to this motherfucker boil. There's no more talk. Through the grave y'all walk. I talk for the slave from the grave. It's war.
We tried to warn you. I mean, we did our best. We tried to warn you. We're here now, folks. We are here now. You had so many warnings. You had so many warnings. Like, at least from this platform. From this platform in which I do my due diligence to inform you good people, anyone willing to pay attention and listen and watch. I mean, how many warnings did you get? Let's review real quick. Let's just go back. We could possibly go back to when we started informing you about the dealings in Ukraine. You know, the Russian invasion of Ukraine, or occupation, however you want to say it. You know, annexing, violent annexing, however you want to term it. Purely up to you. But we kept you informed, and we told you the shit that was going to happen because of it. You know, shipping all over the globe, just gone to hell, which adds to the supply chain or lack thereof, or a broken supply chain. On top of the fact that, we're dealing with the many and different plagues that they keep putting on us. We could go back as far as 6 months. Maybe we can go even further. Hold on, let's see. Let's see. Hmm. Okay, so that was 5 months ago. I did a little short video 5 months ago, single life inflation, and where I did a little lesson in inflation using groceries that I purchased, newly purchased groceries at that time, to do a little visual presentation on inflation. Yes, that actually happened. But let's go even further. Let's go further. You remember this one? Face to Face Friday, hyperinflation. That was 8 months ago. We were speaking on hyperinflation when most economists wasn't even daring to say the words. We were telling you that all of this would lead to that. We were telling you that the shit that's going on in Ukraine, the shutdowns due to the plagues, we told you this shit was coming. And now we're here, folks. We are here. Recession 2022. Told you so. See, maybe it's a little laziness in titling this show. Maybe it was a little laziness going on because, I was like, what do I want to call? I knew that I want to have Recession 2022 because it needs to be noted that it is a recession going on in our current time. Yes, we are in a recession, folks, and many of your mainstream news outlets refuse to warn you. Well, I mean, here over here, somebody got to say this shit. We've been throwing up the warning signs for a very long time. We have been 8 months. We have 8 months. We have been telling people 8 months ago, we've been warning people about hyperinflation that will lead to inflation, hyperinflation that will lead to recession. We told you 8 months ago. Well, you ain't got to worry about it because we're here now. We are here now. The recession is here. Yes. And you are a part of it. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. We haven't seen or felt anything yet. You understand me? It's going to get extremely worse. Extremely worse. Don't take my word for it, please. Just pay attention. But if you don't pay attention and you so happens to be subscribed to this YouTube channel, by all means, just soak up the information and try to enjoy. I am Merc the Nerve, aka Mr. Somebody. Everybody's somebody. Somebody got to say this shit. Now look. I hate to be the bringer and the bearer of bad news. I hate, but who in the fuck else is going to keep you updated with the bullshit? There is a whole lot of shit going on globally. Just a whole lot of shit. This past Thursday, we have been told that we have 2 quarters, 2 quarters of negative GDP. You see those? Okay, so don't worry about the red marks close to my avatar, because that would be the first quarter, which was a warning sign. The red marks close to my avatar, that would be the indication of the end of the first quarter. Now we're going into the and and if you look to the left of my avatar, your right, you will see little red marks, and that is the marks that led to our recession. That is the second quarter, negative GDP. What in the fuck is GDP? What is GDP? Now, again, I am not an economist. If you get your economic advice from me, holy shit, are you in a world of trouble? Don't Let's not do that. Find someone else and better educated in this topic than I. But I do know what GDP is. GDP is gross domestic product. It's the sum total of all the products that is produced in one country and how it's dispensed. Yep, that's what it is. And if you don't believe me, I have a video to show. But I'm gonna bring in my partner because we did this together. We have been warning you motherfuckers for 8 months together, and now we're here. And he should also be able to bask in the fact that he was correct all along. Wowski.
What's happening?
Man, schooling and being schooled. I'm schooling, and we are up here doing what we have been doing for at least, well, let's just say we have been doing it for at least 8 months. I have
Yeah.
video footage. I have video footage. We have been saying the words inflation, hyperinflation, and recession. We have been saying those three words in variations. We have been saying those words for 8 months.
Absolutely.
And it's we haven't been wrong. We're not wrong. Again, I have to say that
No.
the
And
recession is here.
I'd like to throw another word out like that as well. Like you said, we inflation, hyperinflation. We threw those out from what we've already know about the war in Ukraine real fast. And the word that's being tossed around now that I believe is going to be a hot button topic in about 8 months, maybe less. Money laundering.
Oh, oh, oh! Could it? Could that little company in the Ukraine that we know as Burisma has anything to do with this? Maybe.
Think about that, because if you really think about it, our government's always ran like a mafia organization. All these billies that they're printing off and sending to Ukraine, the Ukraine, what if they're just washing it,
Mm.
funneling it right back through? Pay a little tax for some missiles and some dead soldiers, and then clean it up.
Bruh, we have been paying attention to this whole little fucking charade, scam, bullshit at high levels from the very beginning. We knew that the war had a lot to do with the dirty dealings of Hunter Biden and his then vice president daddy under the Obama administration. See, we have been paying attention, folks, over here at Somebody Gotta Say This Shit. So when the war in Ukraine actually kicked off, me and my man Jay Walski had a lot to say about it. Yeah. Because there's a whole lot of shit that the mainstream news media, the mainstream news outlets will not tell you about these events. That is why it is called Recession 2022. Told you so.
Sad enough, we did.
Could you elaborate more, Jay Walski? Because it needs to be because we have been doing great video and audio documentation of the fact that we are current in what's going on in the world and ahead of the motherfucking story. And over again, it's hilarious to hear these talking heads on these mainstream media outlets say the things that we said weeks prior. It's funny. It's like when I listen to them, like, you motherfuckers, y'all just now catching up.
That's the thing that always pisses me off, because when you think you're breaking news, when you think you're like Paul Revere, warning, bat signal, motherfucker, problem, code red, hit the fucking deck. Everybody's like, man, this motherfucker's nuts. Or, man, it's all like, you believe that shit? That's lies. You one of them conspiracy theory motherfuckers. Or now, these silly motherfuckers, you one of them conservatives. But the wildest thing about it is, just give it time. Like a fine wine. Don't drink it yet. Let it breathe. And by the time it hits the mainstream media news, they turn and look, oh, man, yeah, you did say something about that. Yeah, I sure did, motherfucker. I sure as hell did.
Now,
Months ago.
I'm telling you, I would much rather be out somewhere dancing with my hottie. I would love to be out somewhere just dancing with my hottie, but I have an obligation to the facts of the matter. And that's why I'm willing to do this here on this platform. Somebody got to say this shit. Me and Wowski have been telling you motherfuckers to get prepared. My man told you that the bubble was gonna pop. Matter of fact, let me show you the video. Let me show you real quick. He said the bubble was gonna pop. And this little ditty that we did right here. The cost of power, which is totally ironic right now. The cost of power, the ruble versus the petrodollar. This was 3 months ago to this date. All of those dates are current now. So yeah, the screenshot is beautiful because I'm able to keep it current. I don't use the same screenshot. I always update it just to let you know that, as the months, that's the days, the weeks, the months pass on, we stayed on this shit.
The funny shit is, man, I seen a clip from some lady on CNN. I really don't know any of these mainstream media newscasters' names, nor do I care to know them because I don't watch the shit. I don't listen to them. But I do see clips from silly shit they say from time to time. And this lady, she was talking about something about the White House basically was trying to downplay hyperinflation and a recession and basically just the turmoil in our economy at the moment. And she said out of her mouth, it was like a Freudian slip. She said, we can't cover this one up. She said, "There's absolutely inflation." But do you hear that? The way she phrased it.
Yeah,
we can't cover
we
this
can't
one up.
Yeah, we can't cover this one up. But see, the thing is, Walski, and like you and I both know, that the current representing administration, they have been trying to cover it up. They have been trying to cover up the fact that we are absolutely in a recession. And there's video fucking, and it's so ridiculous. There's video proof of it. Let's take a look real quick.
So first, do we believe we're in recession? No.
Do you believe the United States is currently in a recession?
I do not think the U.S. is currently in a recession.
And right now, we don't see a recession. Right now, we're not in a recession right now.
You know what people are going to do when they look at this?
Sure.
Yeah. They're going to look at those last two blocks and they're going to say, well, it looks like a recession to me. Feels like a recession to me.
2 negative quarters of GDP growth is not the technical definition of recession. It's not the definition that economists have traditionally relied on.
Mr. President, we're getting GDP numbers on Thursday. How worried should Americans be that we could be in a recession?
We're not going to be in a recession.
We all understand a recession to be 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth in a row, and then you have White House officials come up here to say, no, that's not what a recession is. It's something else. How is that not redefining recession?
Because that's not the definition.
For the longest of now, you gotta understand when I was born. You have to understand when I was born.
The definition.
Yeah. Now you have to understand when I was born, and you have to understand the fact that I have lived through a few recessions. Yes, I have. Yes, this is true. So for as long as I've ever known it, 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP is recession. I've always known that like I said, not an economist. There are people more educated in these things than me. But for that little thing that I do know, you're not gonna fucking try to trick me and change my mind on it. No. I know what a recession is. And we are fucking in a recession. So it needs to be known. This is Crazy Joe's Recession 2022. This is Crazy Joe. This falls in the lap of Crazy Joe. And you know, he likes, never mind. Anyway, Crazy Joe, this is on him and his administration. Prove me wrong, please. I need somebody to try to prove me wrong. This is a policy. Remember the fucking Rescue America Act? Do you remember all of the motherfucking flooding of money from the Fed during the goddamn plagues, and everyone forced out of work to get all of this?
Do you see like the fucking Hollywood, just wild, crazy world we live in now, like fairy tale land? Like one of the people on there showed the decline, and she said some people may say that this looks like a recession. Some people may think that, but you would be wrong. And then this lady, well, that's not the definition. Just that's your statement from the fucking White House about a recession. Oh, well, that's not the definition. You see what I'm saying? Like how they just now they don't even give a fuck. They're just like playing us to the left. Like, whatever. Or you will show a clip of the negative, the decline, and you will fix your mouth to say some people may think that this is a recession, but, not really. I mean, these motherfuckers are bold.
Isn't it not telling that as the United States government denies that the country is in recession, the rest of the world is falling into that same fucking recession, some more than others. Do you know what's happening in Australia right now? Okay, I'm moving too fast. First of all, inflation is this. Inflation is you need more of this in order to do this. Have you took a good look at your grocery receipt lately? That is a prime indicator of recession as well as gas prices.
Yeah.
Everything across the board. Will you please do me the honors, Jaworski? Read that for me.
Consumer prices in June.
Clothing. This is in June. This is in June. We don't even have the July numbers yet. Go ahead, Walski.
So clothing up 5.2%. Oh, back to school's gonna be fun. Gas up 59.95%. Yo. Food up 10.4%. Up, and away goes your money.
And those numbers are going to continue to climb. Like I said, this is just the beginning of a recession that's going to possibly, I'm going to go ahead and say it so it can be recorded and documented. This could possibly lead to another Great Depression. The longer the recession lasts, it will lead to a depression.
Yeah. And the wildest thing, I don't even know why people watch the mainstream news to listen to the bullshit out of these people's mouths, because it's plain to see. There's no moves from the top at all to fix any of this shit. Everything they're pushing with the pen doubles and triples down on this whole scenario, like just packing the powder keg as tight as you can get it. I mean, from one end to the other. Gas, what have they done? What strides have they made to make that shit go down cheaper? None. But they're washing money in Ukraine. You see what I'm saying? It's a big club, and we ain't in it.
Well, it's a good thing that we're on the topic of Ukraine, because it plays a serious part in it. Recently, in this past June the 24th, 2022, there was the G7. Does anyone remember the G7? Walski, could you do me the honors?
Yeah. All right, so the G7. Russia must not win, the war against Ukraine. Also the G7. Companies keep doing business in or with Russia and financing the war.
Let's go with a quote from good old Crazy Joe. Go ahead.
All right. U.S. President Joe Biden himself, Sleepy Joe, we're going to continue to stand with the brave and proud people of Ukraine. We will never fail in our determination to defend freedom and oppose tyranny. Oh, you silver-tongued devil. Meanwhile, at least 56 U.S. companies keep doing business in or with Russia, including Morgan Stanley, Cargill, Colgate, Palmolive, Cloudflare, Tesla. That's interesting. Mondelez International, whatever that is, and Hilton Suites.
True do. True fucking do. Do me honors, Walski.
Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau. The West is absolutely determined and resolved to stand against what he is doing. Meanwhile, at least 8 Canadian companies keep doing business in or with Russia, including Uranium One Group, Pornhub, Calfrac, Four Seasons, SAQ, SAQ, One Password, Thomson Reuters. I don't know. Other than Four Seasons and Pornhub, I don't know about any of these fucking businesses. That's that Canadian shit for you.
Oh, it gets even better. Let's move on. Here we go.
Isn't that funny how it works out, though? The only two ones I know are a porn site and a seedy hotel chain. That kind of just works together.
What have you been doing in your spare time, Walski?
You can't get big bugs in a clean room. That's all I'm saying. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Ukraine can win and will win. Meanwhile, at least 56 British companies keep doing business in or with Russia, including OLME. Who are they? I don't know, some kind of company. Bacardi, HSBC, Intercontinental Hotels, Dyson, Imperial Tobacco, Chronospawn. Word.
Now, I don't know any of those motherfucking companies, but I do know that their profit margins matter most to them.
Chancellor of Germany, Olaf Scholz. We all share one goal. Russia must not win this war. Ukraine must prevail. Meanwhile, at least 132 German companies keep doing business in or with Russia, including
And of course, we've said this in war during crisis. We said this during hyperinflation. We said this on multiple shows that Germany would be playing both sides of the conflict, and it would hurt them. It would hurt their country more to go against Russia than to be with them.
Yep. That's hilarious. Like I said, they're not, I mean, it's blatantly obvious now what they're doing.
And you do know that every country that has every quote from every representative that represents that fucking countries that they represent, every one of them countries are going through hyperinflation leading to recession, whether they are willing to publicly admit it or not.
Yeah. Meanwhile, what the media would tell you is poor Ukraine getting their asses blown off, which is probably true for the most part. But somehow, their president, their leader, has time to do a Esquire magazine write-up, full interview, photo shoot and all. Now, if you're a wartime president and you have Russia, Mother Russia, pressing down on you, you got time to go do a photo shoot for a magazine?
Yeah.
But of course, if you were just some kind of fucking corporate puppet president plant.
Yeah, let's speak at the Oscars during war. Let's speak at the Oscars during wartime.
I mean, you hear about these motherfuckers, all these grand generals of war, mud guzzling, shit talking, mean, crazy motherfuckers. And then you fast forward to this era. This motherfuckers at award shows, posing for pictures. George Washington's picture was painted on the battlefield. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Hey. Oh shit, that was hilarious. All right, so we got through with Schultz. We got Schultz? Yeah, let's move on. Oh, this one's an interesting one.
Prime Minister of Japan, Fumio Kishida. Hey! Russia's invasion shakes the very foundations of the international order and must be dealt with firmly. Meanwhile, at least 58 Japanese companies keep doing business in or with Russia. Lexus, Asics, Mitsubishi, Yokohama, Yamaha, JTI, Bandai Namco. So basically, all the fucking dope motorcycles, the wackest shoes, and noodle companies. Word.
The fact that these motherfuckers made such a public gesture in throwing these sanctions around and threatening sanctions on a country that is so integrated, woven into our fucking global economy. It's like slicing your own fucking wrist. Like you can't cut Russia out of the global economy without fucking cutting your own fucking nose off.
And think about it. The only country that really did this was ours. Every other country seems to keep doing business with Russia. We're just printing off money and sending it off God knows where. But at the same time, Russia and China are working on their own replacement currency for the petrodollar, the new numero uno currency. And we're just deflate. It's like it is obvious that the demise in this whole situation seems to be right here at home. We seem to be the only country really, really just fucking punching holes in the bottom of the boat.
You said it from the very beginning in a couple of shows back that we're putting too much into this, and the other countries are doing so much less.
Dude, just think about that one move that Putin made. We hit him with the sanctions, shut off all the shipping. We're just printing our own money, devaluing the dollar, inflating the system, expanding the bubble to inevitable poppage. And what does he say? Oh, it's fine. You can't do business with me if it's not in the ruble or in gold. Do you know what that would do to their economy? You know what chess move that is? Just that move alone shows you that we are not looking out for self on this one. Well, not us. They're not looking out for us. I'd imagine at the top they've already got this. This one's already in the bag. Oh, bro.
But
what a wild spot to be in when you know it's like it seems like the only country stabbing itself in the heart at the moment is us and Canada and Australia.
because we want to be the global leader in the defense of Ukraine, allegedly, and we want to posture as if we really give a fuck when we don't. As far as policy driven, there is no policy that really gives a fuck about the Ukrainian people or its government. Fuck out of here. Definitely not from our country or any other country in the West. So with that bullshit, let's stop and do a lesson in GDP growth.
If you look at every U.S. recession, well, since World War II, you'll see two things always happen. The GDP, the measure of economic output, goes down, and unemployment goes up. Now let's look at today. The GDP is going down. Even the head of the Federal Reserve says a recession is
certainly a possibility.
But the unemployment rate, it's actually falling. More people are getting jobs, not losing them. The reason the GDP and unemployment are always together is because they feed on each other. When businesses lay off workers, people spend less money, which means businesses make fewer profits and lay off workers. A recession can begin at any of these points, and in 2022, people could cut back on spending. Just look at consumer sentiment, a measure that weighs how people are feeling about the economy and whether they plan to spend money soon. Generally, when people respond that they feel more pessimistic, a recession follows. And right now, they're feeling about as good as during the Great Recession in 2008, thanks to inflation. Not a great sign for the GDP.
The Great Recession of 08. That's going to feel like child's play. That was actually what happened in 2008. Right now where we stand would probably be a pretty fucking awesome economy.
And the thing is it's the exact same scenario except for the job growth thing. Now me and you, Jaworski, we've talked about this offline and off live. We've spoken about this, and we know why Crazy Joe is claiming that this is not a recession, because he's going off of job numbers, inflated job numbers, we should say. Right now, the job numbers are white hot, but there's going to be a dying soon, and he knows it, but he's using it to prop up the fact that the job numbers doesn't look like past job numbers during a recession. Luckily, he has the plagues to fall back on. You see how he did that? See, the plagues forced a lot of people out of work. And then when the subsidies stopped coming in the form of PPPs, people had to go back to work in masses. That's why the job numbers are white hot. But those job numbers are not going to be able to compete with the rising interest rates in everything we buy. Boom! Damn, I should have been an economist. Fucking hard, heavy drugs at young age. Fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, duh. Jobs are white hot. Yeah, you pay people to sit at home, and then you quit giving them checks. The fuck do you think that was going to do? You know what I mean? But somehow the news will spin it like, yeah, this is great. This is a good thing. No, not really. Plus, you
No, it's
fucked a
not
lot
a
of
good.
them jobs up because when people weren't going to work, these places got desperate and they had to pay their fucking employees 15 something dollars an hour, this and that, for what they wasn't paying them $15 an hour for or more, and got all these people in there at that price. Well, now jobs are white hot. They ain't out here looking for people like that. But you done locked in a whole staff of people at a wage that you can't even afford to pay them. So either you got to piss these motherfuckers off and bump that money down on them, or you got to keep paying them what more than you could afford to pay them any goddamn way. And all your prices of your product is went up. It's all going up.
But the thing is, when you have an administration that has built policies around a fucking pandemic that the policy is basically just flood the system with fucking garbage money and hope it corrects itself. What the fuck? And the fact that you won't even admit that the job numbers have nothing to do with anything you've planned. It was not policy based. It just so happens to work out that way. You lay off a bunch of motherfuckers and tell them that they can't go to work. Feed them, stop feeding them, they will leave and go feed themselves. That's how it works, Joe, crazy Joe. But guess what you did? You lied to the people and told them that there was no recession instead of giving them the warning that maybe you should cut down in spending. Ridiculous, frivolous spending is at an all-time high. I have numbers for it somewhere, but yeah, I have numbers for it somewhere.
And there goes to show you how this is definitely going down in flames. Your deterrent to the recession is to further inflate the economy. That's going to be a disaster.
Most indebted economies.
We are number 9.
Yeah. Number 9. And
somehow we're even lower than Libya, whose economy we destroyed. I guess that's a touch of karma. You go over, destroy a whole fucking country and their economy, turn them into slaves, and their economy's doing better than yours.
Yeah, it has a lot to say about policy. There's a lot to say about policy, but it doesn't look good, folks. I mean, we decided that we're going to break this shit down into a series, but the thing is, it's bad.
It's a really unique time in the job market. The labor force participation rate is as low as it's been in 40 years. And it isn't all due to the pandemic. The rate has been declining for a long time. You can see it in the unfilled job rates too. As more people leave the labor force, the more job positions become available. Add in a pandemic, and that's a lot of jobs.
Put it down. Mic check.
I hear you.
So this right here is a map of GDP from 1 AD to 2022. A lot has happened in our history for gross domestic product to change. Wars, colonizations, different missionary missions all around the world, and then the rise of Western politics or westernized governments, Western style politics. And then you see America starts to grow in the 19th century, going into the 20th century. And yes, we're here in the 21st century, and we're dealing with fucking recession like no other. This is a recession like no other because we have high job numbers with low GDP, and something is going to have to the bottom's going to have to drop out of something. And I'm going to go ahead and say that it's the increases. The Federal Reserve are looking to increase interest rates pretty soon. We are definitely paying attention to that, and that is going to make spending much, much harder for those at the bottom of the totem pole. I am not an economist. I am paying attention because I am trying to protect my own pockets. But yeah. What you feel about it, Jay Walski?
The bad thing is, in the middle of all this, it's like, this is bad, really bad. But outside of that, and the rise in food prices, the shortage of food is going to be the real fucking problem out here sooner than later. There was a head of one of the top food processing companies in America went on wax the other day, and he said that they've never seen anything like it. Nothing. I mean, as far as the shutting down farms, telling farmers to kill off fucking livestock, paying farmers not to grow, paying farmers to kill off livestock, the supply chain breakdown. They said that you better believe that you should have as much non-perishables and as much stuff that you can stock away by this winter. Like, they're just barely propping up the food supply like they are the goddamn economy. Honestly,
yes, because
honestly, without them just printing off like they're doing now, like, by the winter, we'll probably have a for real food shortage out here. Like, motherfuckers can't get shit, and what you can get is going to just cost you ridiculous amounts of money, which is going to have pandemonium in the streets, robbery, and plus they're setting that up to be a damn shit show. I mean, look at the crime rate and all the shit that's going on in every major city around the country now. Like, it's just getting progressively wilder, because these governors just sold out their fucking people. When there's a for real food shortage out here and the money ain't shit, oh, bro, it's gonna be wild out here. And the bad thing too, you stock up your food and shit, that's good and nice, but it would get to the point where you have to watch who knows what you got. Because once they can't go to the stores or the damn soup kitchens or whatever it is that they might have set up there for a little bit or in certain spots, man, they're gonna start kicking in doors. Hungry people do wild shit.
Yeah, and people are due to starve in the winter because, like I said, the food shortage on top of the shipping crisis has not been fixed. And we're going into a recession, which means the prices of your common goods, common grocery store goods are going to be extremely high and possibly unaffordable. So it's a problem. It's a problem, and we can definitely put this in the lap of Crazy Joe. I personally put this in the lap of Crazy Joe. This is a failure of administration. This is corruption that leads all the way back to the Obama administration. This also involves his fucking son, who is a piece of shit and does under table deals that Joe knows all about. So,
oh, what did he call him? Pedo Pete.
Pedo Pete.
Good old Pedo Pete. Oh, did you see too? Just yesterday, they said that Sleepy Joe come down with COVID again, and it wasn't looking too good for the guy. He's real sick, and they're got a watchful eye on him, and they got him laid down. Like, dude, that's another thing. Dude, any fucking minute now, we could look up, and it's gonna be President Harris.
Oh, I'm counting on it. Because first of all, the Biden administration as a policy driving force is long gone. It's done. It's dead. There's nothing. He doesn't exude any form of strength. Looks very good. I mean, looks very horrible on the global stage. And at this point, I'm sure they're thinking that Kamala's a better choice, even if they dread the thought, which I'm sure most of them do. But it's just the fact that the corruption is creeping up on Crazy Joe really fast. The fact that all of his policies since first day has basically exploded in his face. Yeah, I mean, there's no he doesn't have one policy that benefits the American citizen. So, yeah.
No. And the funny thing is, I can see it. He's already getting sick now. I can see him getting sicker, maybe close to midterm, maybe not even that far down the road. They announce her, but check it out. This is what they'll do, man. I'm predicting it now. If they announce her president before or right around the midterms, inevitably somewhere in the news, there's going to be some kind of police shooting or at least some kind of racial shooting. And she's going to jump on that fucking racial surfboard and she's going to ride that bitch. And they're going to act like this is what bolstered her up to win it.
It's not going to work. It's not going to matter. Too much is going on. Like you said, pretty soon people are going to be really worried about how to fill up their refrigerators.
This is true. This is true.
I think racial propaganda at this point for a politician is just a complete waste of time. It's not going to drive any It's not going to drive any force for new policy. The Democrats right now are celebrating this fucking semi-automatic fucking bill, which is somehow going to get fucking overturned. I'm sure of it, but it it doesn't look good, bro. It does
So
not
what
look
do you
good.
think? What do you think the
I
what do you
think
think?
people were
What do you think the
starving.
response for a winter with a for real food shortage and rationings, maybe? What do you think the response from that looks like from the powers that be?
It's not going to come from Joe. Like I said, I think you're right. I think it's going to be a Kamala. I think it's going to be a big switch.
No, but
I
my
think
thing is, no matter who it is, I'm saying like the response, like, how do you think they're gonna handle this? They just gonna let everybody just bug out and starve, or do you think it's gonna be like some fucking straight up martial law, fucking FEMA camp type scenario, or what do you think?
food
Well, I mean,
ration.
if they're actually bolstering and setting up a food shortage, like they planned this, they're obviously doing this. All these plants don't burn up, these cattles don't die in mass. You don't tell farmers that they can't fucking farm. I mean, as soon as they tell farmers you can't farm, that's a direct fucking attack on our food, people's livelihoods. So with all that, I'm just saying, if they're doing this and this goes down, what do you think their move is? Like, they do it, so what do you think their move is after they do this to the masses of people? I'm just asking you just your thought. I mean, I don't know, not necessarily think that you got the actual blueprint. I'll just
I
spitball.
think you're going to have to lock down the people harder than you locked them down during the plagues. You know, especially when at the beginning of the lockdowns, it looked like it was going to be uh, a real strict mandate. I think it's going to be even stricter when it comes to the fact that uh, people are starving. People can't feed themselves. People will they will overrun food banks, and food banks will run out quickly, and it's a bad scenario, man. I think they'll have no other choice but to they're gonna they're gonna coincide both. They're gonna use the plagues as a justification for lockdowns, but it was gonna work. It's gonna work like a double-edged sword because it also addresses the issue of starving stomachs.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I like that thought because I think that's exactly how they'll do it. Because they've already, like I said, at the Toyota plant, they've already got people wearing masks again. And I'm sure plenty of other corporations they do as well, which I know that's not, I mean, it's a corporation's call. But what I'm saying is, if you're already pushing the narrative that we can have to wear masks in 80, 90-degree summer heat with the best immune support ever, the natural sunlight and fresh air, then when it gets cold and people really start getting the sniffles, as they always do, oh, they're definitely going to lock us down again, or at least push the mask again and the da. I mean, they're going to definitely put us back in that shit. So yeah, I can see that, bro. They lock us down because of that shit, but then you so notice that you can only leave a certain time of day or some bullshit. You're locked down hard to curfews, and when you go to the store, there's nothing there.
Or it's so damn high that you can't afford it.
Or like you said, though, if they do mask it under another pandemic lockdown, Do you think that's how you end up getting your food rations from the government? Yeah, well, you got to come down here and show that you're vaccinated and boosted. Or when you come down here, you can get the vaccine and or your booster, and you can have this box of canned goods and
Well,
an apple.
That depends on how they sell the newest variant. I told you all these it's not going to stop mutating. I said it from the very beginning. I said it during war, during crisis. Anytime we did a show bringing up, the fucking plagues, we always pointed out that the variants are mutating and they're going to keep mutating. So with that being said, if they sell this one as if it's this one right here, look at the reports coming out of Ghana right now. They're saying a highly infectious strain of disease is in Ghana, tearing up Ghana right now. Hopefully it won't spread, but at the same time, it's that thing, it's the propagation of fear and the fact that people went out and took the V's, the stabby jabbies. People went out and took the stabs, and now we have all the proof that those stabs meant nothing. It's basically a placebo, but
that is true. It's very interesting, my friend.
And horrifying at the same time, you ask me. I want to look at some more clips from the talking heads and how they're selling this whole not a recession thing.
And what is exactly the White House's definition of a recession?
Again, I'm not going to define it from here.
A common definition of recession is 2 negative quarters of GDP growth, or at least that's something that's been true in past recessions. When we've seen that, there has usually been a recession.
But you're splitting hairs. I mean, if the technical definition is 2 quarters of contraction, you're saying that's not a recession?
That's not the
No?
That's not the technical definition.
The idea that 2 quarters of negative GDP growth is a technical definition of a recession is wrong.
Right, and certainly in terms of the technical definition, it's not a recession.
How worried should Americans be that we could be in a recession?
We're not going to be in a recession.
You should ask yourself why the heavy downplay. It's very important to ask yourself this during a time of shipping crisis, during a time of food shortages, during a time of many different fucking plagues being thrown upon us. You have to ask yourself, why is the downplay of recession so hard?
And think about what you just said. All the troubles of the world, all the problems we got going on. And not only do they downplay it, they're hung up on the definition of the word. Tomatoes, potatoes. It ain't looking good out here, motherfuckers. So no matter what dictionary you're reading from, that don't explain the fuck shit going on in the country. And just, do you have the definition pulled up on here?
No, I don't.
I got it right here. Can I read it just to dead all that silly shit?
Please.
A recession is defined by the NBER as a significant decline in economic activity spread across the economy, lasting more than a few months. The organization takes into account many factors, including GDP, real income, employment, industrial production, and consumer spending in its determination. So I don't know exactly what dictionary they're reading from, but from that definition, it sounds like we are in fact in a recession.
How do you not equate imports and exports with your GDP? If you have problems with your imports and your exports, of course you're going to have negative GDP. It's your gross domestic product. If you're not spreading your gross domestic product out, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, and then industrial production, all the food production plants get burned up and shut down. All the plants that got shut down for the vid.
All the farmers that got bought out.
Yeah, and what is that by definition? A few months. Man,
yeah,
that's all it takes. And this would definitely have to be over a year. Yeah, they're wild out here. But that's what I'm saying with this fantasy world news coverage shit we get nowadays. Well, by definition, you're looking at the numbers. You're looking at the grid on the screen. And you hung up on definition. You see the gas pumps. You see the grocery stores. You see everything you spend money on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about everybody else, but shouldn't even have to explain it to nobody that out here living. Shit, between gas and groceries, I went from feeling like I had a decent little knot to come home to every week to not so much.
Exactly. Causing people to work more hours, causing people to probably pick up second jobs. And the thing is like those people, I would consider those that are aware, the ones that are paying attention. Those that are making the adjustments in order to deal with the shit that's coming. And it's like I said, it's just the beginning, folks. We have been warning you for 8 months that this shit was coming. It's here now. It's here. So yeah.
And the worst thing is, think about all the people that sold their houses and moved out and did this and that. And think about all the people that are now moved into these places and they renting these places and shit. Think about just everybody that rents a home from people. That's not like some major big corporation. None of us, none of them know the financial well-being of your landlords. So with inflation and gas going up and everything else, man, if your landlord's pockets ain't right, man, a bunch of people are gonna be out on the street just so they can try to survive their damn self.
There are whole communities being pushed out due to evictions because of the increases in rent.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. When they can't increase the rent no more because they know they ain't gonna get it out of you, or motherfuckers they just got to put them out because they can't afford it. There you go. Now they're increasing the rent already and pushing people out, but eventually they ain't even gonna be able to up the rent. They're gonna be like, I just got to sell the building. And honestly, in some regards, no fault of their own. So they gonna look grimy for putting people on the street, but they've got to be on the street too.
Exactly, and it's becoming more of a survival of the fittest mentality when it comes to the economic situation that we're dealing with. So
yeah, the dominoes will fall. And the wildest thing is, man, like motherfuckers have been outraged over so much silly shit in the past couple of years, man. Take to the streets change their whole life. Quit talking to family members, friends, get divorces, all kind of wild shit. And where's the outrage? Where's the gas pump fucking protest? Where's the grocery store protest? Where's the stop printing money and sending it to other country protest? Where's the how about don't stir the
Which
pot of
should be
World
the
War
biggest
III
fucking
protest?
protest of them all. The stop sending foreign countries our fucking money protest. When I'm there, I'm front row. Yeah.
Yeah, a motherfuckers will put the Ukraine flag in their profile picture while their country is spending money and sending it over there, and all their shit's getting more expensive, and they about to be fucking scrounging for food. You see what I'm saying? But somehow,
While people were talking about Will Smith and Chris Rock, we were telling people you better get ready for the fucking storm.
yeah. And the thing is with the grocery stores, I mean, think about it. I mean, here's a tip for anybody listening or coming across this one day. Hopefully it ain't too late. The grocery store shit's fucked up. And honestly, man, you're getting to the point where you ain't gonna want to eat the shit that's in there no fucking way. With the supply chain breakdown and them killing off all the fucking cattle and shit, the meat that you do get, who knows where it came from, how long it's been sitting, how many times it's been frozen, thawed, and froze again. Look, man, it's the summertime. Every town's got them.
This is a first world country that has never dealt with third world starvation. Your fucking domesticated home pets, your fucking lovely the dog that you love so much, he's not safe. He's not safe. You have not starved first world people. We don't know starvation yet.
No,
There are
but what I'm saying is, here's the jewel I'm gonna give you.
There are homeless people in this country that eat well, and I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that to sugarcoat the situation of homelessness at all. What I'm saying is that we have not dealt with extreme starvation to the point where people are striving and struggling to eat. That will be a problem when these warehouses actually empty. I'm telling you, they are filling up these Walmarts, they are filling up these Krogers with the last of what's in their warehouses.
Yeah. So like I was gonna say, man, one joy I'll give you, especially right now, it's summertime. Farmers markets all the time during the weekends and shit. Look for them. Get to know these farmers, man. Get to know them. Get to build a relationship with them. Buy your shit from them now. This shit they got right now is way better than anything you're gonna get.
They're gonna be your last. They're gonna be your last hope.
Anyway.
And the farmers that didn't get bought out or forced out, and God bless the farmers that were forced out, because those motherfuckers, we could only imagine what they had to go through. The ones that wake up and find their whole fucking cattle, all the crops, the cattle dead.
Yeah. Could you imagine being the guys who own the cattle that we seen dead on the side of the road? That's their food, their livelihood.
That's a shame, dude.
Yeah. Everything. But
It's
yeah, like I
good.
said, I mean, go to these farmers markets, man. Meet some people that do shit, build a relationship with them. You know, I mean, I would imagine shit gets bad. It's always going to have to be family first. But the more you know, the more of a network. If you got something to offer them that they got, whatever. I mean, at least know where you have an alternative to get some food at. You might have, I mean, depending on how it goes, man. You know, I mean, shit. I get 95% of my shit right now from farmers. I don't really eat about a Kroger. I definitely don't want none of that meat about that motherfucker no more.
And the thing is, I would say to anyone that can afford Kroger's, buy Kroger's. If you can afford high end fucking grocery stores, go buy that. But understand that there will come a time in the near future where you will not be able to buy these things because they're not being produced or they're not being distributed in a timely manner. You're going to have to deal with that, folks. That's why we have been doing shows like this. You are going to have to deal with the consequences of starvation, of feeding yourself, of figuring out how to pay your bills because of the increases in rates. We all are going to have to deal with that, and that's why I speak on it. That's why Jay Walski speaks on it. That's why we spend our time with vital issues instead of the bullshit. This is I Told You So. This is an I Told You So show because we told you so. We told you this was coming. We have the proof. Please go back and look at, enjoy the visual and audible fucking proof that we have been given for 8 months and possibly even further. So, I mean,
yeah.
Jay, while you have anything else to say?
Well, not really on these topics, not at the moment, my friend. I mean, I feel like we've told them time and time again. And the bad thing is, every time we come back, it ain't like we've been saying the same old shit. We just doubling and tripling down on the information that comes out. We tell you all this shit as soon as we catch wind of it. But the wild thing is, as it progresses, they're always just throwing more shit in the fucking fire. So the wild thing is, it might even seem sometimes like, why y'all talking about the vid? Why y'all talking about this and that? But like, it's all one big ball of shit. It all comes together, man.
It feels like that we're in the prediction business. It feels like we're in the prediction business. Do you want to make some predictions as far as the current state of the world and our country itself? I'm going to make a few predictions before we leave. Would you like to take a shot at it?
Yeah, I might throw a couple out. I'd say it's a very strong likelihood that we may not never really get a press conference or any kind of a public viewing again from Joe Biden as POTUS. I think they might him haul around, send out some fucking Joe's doing well, eating ice cream,
That
smelling
is
kids
that is a huge prediction. You're saying no more press conferences from Joe. That's huge.
I don't see it. I think if so, it's going to be like one of these by the bedside. Joe's a Delaware, got a blanket on his lap, sitting in a fucking wheelchair on the front porch style shit. But I don't think it's going to be suited and booted aviators.
Dude, if we start seeing that, that is the worst sign ever for Harris. That is the worst sign that we are going to have a Kamala Harris president before the end of Joe Biden's first term. Do you understand if we see Joe Biden sitting in any form of couch, wheelchair, if he's sitting down with a fucking blanket over his legs, it's over, folks. It's over. It's over, folks. That's a
I
horrible
believe it though, man. And honestly, and I'll even speak not just throwing it out there because he's got the vid now. I will speak on the evidence I feel that backs this up. He's had the vid for a couple weeks now, and he seems to keep catching it somehow, even though he is juiced all the way up to the max, allegedly. So there's one problem. Two, We've all seen him fall a million times. He's always been casted out as this bumbling, fumbling old man. Anyways, the Hunter Biden hack.
I would say, hold on. I would say that that's a fairly new attribute to Joe Biden. Like he just now he was more creepy pedophile Joe than fucking bumbling idiot Joe. And I think he's shown his bumbling idiot side more during his first his first term. I mean, I think it shows that as far as policy making, holy shit. First of all, the inflation, did you look it up, Jaywalski? The inflation reduction. This is the show that we're going to do Monday. The Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. Remember me and you talked about that over the phone, Walski?
Yeah.
This motherfucker comes out Friday. With a goddamn act, a bill that he presented to the House. And somehow it's similar, it's damn near identical to the Green New Deal thing that he has. What is it called again?
The Green New Deal.
Yeah, the Green New Deal. It's similar to the Green New Deal. In fact, it has climate policies within an inflation bill. Let me say that again. It has climate policies within an inflation. I get dizzy trying to say that together.
Yeah. That's all it is.
He's trying to get the Green New Deal passed, and he threw in a bunch of inflation fluff inside of the bill in order to make it palatable to those willing to fucking even try to read the bullshit. They're not going to ever pass any such thing. I don't even know why you presented it. You presented it as a form of posturing, you piece of shit, as if you're doing something to address the issue. You call it inflation when every talking head in the media is now saying the words recession. Every one of them are saying recession, and you're saying inflation. Well, we were months past inflation, son. Remember when we were talking about hyperinflation 8 months ago when no one was even mentioning it, not even the economist? Does anyone remember this?
Yeah, but have you read this shit?
You're looking at it right now, are you?
I'm reading it right now. It's the Green New Deal mixed with a little bit of Obamacare with a bunch of false. But here's the funny thing. Why did he come out with this? Because of the economy right now? Like our economy today? Is this why this is coming out? Was that the reason for this bill now? Or this act? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm listening to you. It's political posturing, bro.
But what I'm saying is when he dropped this, it says statement from President Biden on Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. Is this in response to our current economy? This is why he's dropping it, right?
Exactly. If he never presented it before.
Yeah. Funny thing is, everything he's putting on here is all right. Make prescription drugs cheaper by allowing Medicare to negotiate lower prices. Lower health insurance cost for 13 million Americans. How? But then it says by an average of $800 a year for families covered under the Affordable Care Act. We will improve our energy security, tackle the climate crisis by providing tax credits and investments for energy projects that will create thousands of new jobs and help lower energy costs in the future. This bill will reduce the deficit beyond the record-setting 1.7 trillion in deficit reduction we have already achieved this year, which will help fight inflation as well. You see what I'm saying? You drop that because our economy is fucked up right now. Because oil prices are through the roof. Everything's more expensive because of your frivolous printing. This bill is going to cause you to print more money, and the only thing you're promising to give the people out of this bill is a bunch of bullshit about jobs in the future. All right.
But what about did you read the actual climate initiatives inside of the bill? Like, why in the fuck would you even mention climate initiatives in a fucking inflation bill? It doesn't make any fucking sense. That's why, look, dude, okay, bruh, I think I sent it to you. Did I send you his fucking press conference?
Yeah.
I did send that to you, right?
Yeah.
Dude, why in the beginning of just the first fucking 30 seconds of that fucking press conference, he said, I know it looks like the Green New Deal, but we've come a long way.
Yeah, that's my point.
Dude, he actually said that. Like, why would you, like, how could you even how does he?
Well, and that's my point. That's why I read what I read. It says lower health insurance, make prescription drugs cheaper, give tax credits for energy projects that'll give people thousands of jobs. Medicine and energy jobs in the future has nothing to do with our economy being fucked up right now. Yeah, you want to make prescription drugs cheaper and insurance cheaper? Great. That's not going to fucking fix nothing that's going on right now. That's not going to fix inflation. That's not going to fix the greatest of great depressions, the last depression that's knocking on the door. It's not going to stop a fucking food crisis. The fuck? Any goddamn politician that reads that and signs off on it and feels like they did something.
And how many of those companies contribute to CO2 emissions?
Yeah.
Covertly or inadvertently, however.
And that's the thing. They want to do all this clean energy shit. So you're talking about bolstering up your economy.
Clean energy shit it's a guise. It's bullshit. The clean energy shit is bullshit. These motherfuckers talk clean energy and have big stock in oil.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm trying to speak to, like, the viewer about. Like, dude, stop listening to these motherfuckers. They're gonna try to sell you on more money for your economy because of green fucking zero carbon, green energy, green solutions, when they're going to destroy the economy with the oil, the fucking the coal. I mean, dude, there's no fucking way that's going to balance out. And the funny thing is, it's going to take oil and coal to make most of these fucking factories and shit that they're going to need for all this bullshit. So for anybody that's like, yeah, they're going to fix the economy with solar panels and soybeans. No, bro. No, they're not. So they shutting down pipelines and shit. We could tap the oil here, not only make our gas cheaper, have a fucking a product to ship all across the fucking globe to enrich our economy and make everything cheaper and pay off some of his debt.
Despite Donald Trump, you fucked yourself on the pipeline, Biden. You fucked yourself trying to spite him. Dude, we would not. Okay, so it looks like the gas prices are leveling out. No, my friend. That's because production in Russia has kicked up. All the European countries, that's why we did this. Remember, that's why we pointed out the G7. That's why we did this. All those countries are now buying oil from Russia again. You have to understand what's happening. Every country on this fucking planet is going through inflation, hyperinflation, damn near recession. Our country has hit rock bottom first. Well, not first, but basically we're a first world country. Might as well say we're first. Yeah. It's fucking bad, folks, whether you want to look at it or not. And what my man is saying to you is that these fucking initiatives that is thrown into this fucking bill was just thrown at us because of our current situation. Well, how come he didn't address it earlier?
Yeah. And the thing is, how you got all these news reports of we're not in a recession, we're not in a recession, we're not in a recession. But then the president hurries up and puts out a inflation reform bill. Well, come on. Is the economy doing all right or not? Because if the economy is doing good, he wouldn't have been able to change the name of the Green New Deal to inflation reform. Why would he even do such a thing?
Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. It is the dumbest fucking.
Yeah, Reduction Act. My bad, but nevertheless.
No. I'm just saying. Okay. Do me a favor, Wowski. Say that out loud.
Inflation Reduction Act.
It's the dumbest shit. It's like, dude, and the fact that you put it out during time of recession. Okay, so you do know that they are by definition not the same. They do. I mean, they do need each other. They are signs. If you are dealing with inflation conditions within your economy, you must then worry about hyperinflation. If you then worry about hyperinflation, what comes next? Recession. Why in the fuck is he calling it? It's so fucking obvious that it's sickening. Like you go on public address and say that this is not a recession, but yeah, now let's call it. But it's safe to say it's an inflation, my G. What the fuck?
Yeah, but the funny thing is, for months and weeks before this, him and all his pundits and all the talking heads on the mainstream media circuit. Oh, the economy's not that bad. Fucking look, job market's white hot. No, it ain't that bad. We're turning the corner. Look, gas is going down a bit. Look, gas went down.
Quantitative easing. Quantitative easing. Remember that?
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? That's what kills, because they fixed their mouth to say, "Oh, it's dumb shit," and like, look, gas went down 16 cents yesterday. See, we're turning the corner.
Substantial growth. When they kept throwing that, they would say everything besides the fact, oh, we're not going into this is not inflation numbers, this is not hyperinflation numbers. How in the fuck a high school dropout such as myself,
as am I,
how in the fuck do I know before economists that hey guys, we're going into hyperinflation. This doesn't look good. I'm doing videos about I'm putting the cost of chicken together, showing you fucking inflation, examples of inflation and hyperinflation, and now we're here. We were talking about this shit 8 months before the talking heads even would dare say it.
and honestly, if you think about the timeline, 8 months ago we said it when the talking heads wouldn't. Now the talking heads seem to be okay with saying inflation, but we're really in a recession. Depending on how the timeline is and how much fluff and bullshit that they fucking try to mask this with and hide it, we could be in depression tomorrow. Might already be there, just might not know it yet.
But see, the only thing that's propping them up right now is the fact that the frivolous spending. It goes back to frivolous spending. We have so, like you said it, bro. You said it in what was that? The ruble versus the petrodollar. You said it, bro. You was like, you got all this motherfucking loose money out here just for no motherfucking reason. Everybody's spending it, and nothing to back it. Nothing to back is fucking all this fucking just the fucking Fed just keeps printing money, putting it out there in the system, and there's nothing backing it. Well, you got all this fucking money out in the system. Everything has to go up, bro. I'm telling you, man. I swear to you, bro. I'm doing it right now, and you're gonna love it. The shows that I'm breaking, I'm been cutting up clips of our past shows of every time we speak about the economy, man. Every time we speak about the economy, every time we speak about the C word, I'm telling you, bro, we've been on point, and we've been look. I think these motherfuckers need to start taking our advice.
Yeah.
When it comes to reporting, we are guerrilla journalism. I mean, at its apex, like AP says, for real, bro. It's like nobody's bringing it like we bring it.
No.
We are telling the motherfucking truth when it comes to it. And these motherfuckers are behind us in the race. We are ahead of them every time. We've been saying hyperinflation before they were saying hyperinflation. I got videos on this channel talking about recession, warnings of recession. And these, like, where are you motherfuckers at?
Yeah. That's the thing, man. We gotta start. I'm gonna start spreading the motherfucking these show links out to anybody I think might be interested, man. Because, and I'm talking about people with bigger platforms than what we standing on at the moment. Because, like, man, we doing it with the biggest of the big dogs, man. It's like, it's time for us to spread this network out. Because we coming just as hard as anybody else in this motherfucking truth game.
Yeah, we telling it exactly the way it is. We're telling it exactly the way it is, and the way that the mainstream news media avoids to tell you. You know what I'm saying? It's a damn shame that, you know what I'm saying, we gotta go to this, you know what I'm saying? We gotta go to this level to give you the information. We would much rather be bullshitting, talking about, you know what I'm saying, the dumbest shit that could ever be found on this planet. But no, we have to be concerned about feeding ourselves this coming winter. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the severity of the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the fun and games, yeah, we got time for that shit. Yeah, partying bullshit fucking suck. But at the goddamn same time, when are you gonna make sure that you can sustain yourself, feed yourself, clothe yourself, shelter? Like these are the things you have to worry about now because many of us many of us have never been through a recession. Many of us have never. I would argue that 90% of us have never been through a Great Depression.
No, and me included. And that's the thing. I don't feel like I know it all, but that's why I fuck with these farmers. That's why I make the moves I make in my personal life. Cause like, man, I ain't never been through nothing like this, and I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna weather the storm, what it's gonna look like, whatever. But I know anything that seems logical, any information I get of things to have, be a good idea, plans to make, this and that. I mean, I feel like at this point you'd be a fool not to at least try to give you and your family the best damn shot at weathering the storm. You know, I mean, I still try to make time for regular life and go do regular shit with the family and the homies and have a good time when I can, just because at the same time, you don't know how many more of them days you got neither. And so, but yeah, man, you got to do something. At least try to give you and your family the best shot you can give them. You know what I mean? Like, it might not work out. Shit, you might have everything planned, everything work. You go down the street and motherfucker get clipped by a motherfucking a car with no brakes, and it's over. And it didn't even matter, none of it. But shit, it'd be better off than looking up and the shit hits the fan. You look around and you ain't prepared for nothing. Might as well make do a little bit of insurance for you and your family. I ain't talking about motherfucking Aflac. I'm talking about your own personal insurance. Something to protect yourself, something to eat, something to keep you warm, something to, filter some water. I mean, these are things don't get caught slipping. And if you got all that shit never needed, the fuck's it hurting?
And the best way to prepare is just basically to inform yourself.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Stay in the know, man. Because that's the thing. Don't listen to this news. Look at all the shit now. They got a whole website of people that took the stabby jabby and the shit didn't go well. Thousands of people with all these wild effects and people that passed away and memorials to them and their family talking about it and kids going out. But look at that. Most of them, the saddest thing about their story is I was just listening to the recommendations. I was listening to my doctor and see what it got you. I ain't pay attention, but see if you're paying attention, do a little background reading on
Instead of doing, question everything. Listen to your better judgment. Question those that say they work in your best interest. You have that right. Do that. If people say that they are here to help you, you have the right to say, "Oh, really?"
Yeah. And that's the thing too. What happened to questioning shit? We got to a point where motherfuckers scared to death to question anything. Follow the leader ass motherfuckers.
Exactly. Follow ass niggas. But it's the motherfucking safe way to do shit. You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm following someone, then I'm not the one in the front kicking up dust. You dig?
Exactly.
It's a damn shame, man. I got one more thing. I should have I should have pulled it up earlier. I forgot to because I got so many things that I upload. Thank you, baby. I got so many things that I upload. So just read this. This is the White House statement on what's going on currently in our fucking economic system. If you could read those words, I don't know if they're too small on my screen, Jay Walski. If you could read that for me real quick, just read the highlighted shit.
All right. Says, what is a recession?
This is directly from the White House again.
All right. Well, shit, my screen's all right. Here, I'll just read it. While some maintain that 2 consecutive quarters of falling real GDP constitute a recession, that is neither the official definition nor the way economists evaluate the state of the business cycle. Instead, both official determinations of recessions and economics assessment of economic activity are based on a holistic look at the data, including the labor market, consumer and business spending, industrial production, and incomes. Based on these data, it is unlikely that the decline in GDP in the first quarter of this year, even if followed by another GDP decline in the second quarter, indicates a recession.
Which again shows you that he's going off of white hot job numbers, which will cool down. And once it cools down, holy shit, it's not going to look good, folks. Because again, we're still going to have to deal with high interest rates.
And there's my next prediction. I'll leave you with that one. Like you said, white hot jobs are going to cool down. I'd imagine once they push this lockdown this winter is when the jobs will cool down, because everybody's going to be locked back down. And that's when, dude, I'm telling you, this winter here is more than likely going to be the last bit of them packing.
It's going to be the winter. It's going to be the winter to remember. It's going to be the winter to remember, especially if they plan to lock us down, which my man Walski is predicting. I second that prediction. I believe that they are doing that. There's a lot of ramblings in the news right now about monkeypox resurging. There's this new. Remember, I told you about the plague that is struck in Ghana. Pay attention to that, and this new the Omicron transformer that's going on. All that shit plays a part, and if my man is correct about locking us down again, primaries also in November plays a very major part in the decision to lock us down or not. Pay attention to that. My man Walski has been keeping me well informed on that issue, but I'm telling you, if they lock us down the way my man Walski says, man, it's gonna be very bad. It's gonna be very bad. We may be looking at a Great Depression that we've never seen before, and worse than the first. So, yeah.
And I hope to God when they lock us down, I have found my way south, because with all this bullshit going down, the last thing I want to do is be locked down in the dead of a Kentucky winter. I'd much rather it still be warm outside. I'll deal with my lockdown in Miami.
That's a good idea, Miami, fucking Cancun.
I mean, if you got to deal with martial law, food shortages, rioting in the streets, fucking martial law, yeah, might as well do it while it's warm out.
Sick ass shit, G. All I know is, man, pay attention to what's going on. This absolutely falls in the lap of the Biden administration. Fuck what anyone else thinks. This is Crazy Joe's recession. I don't give a fuck what no one says. that is how we are going to record it in the history books. Here, somebody got to say this shit. I got one more video to show you, and then we'll ride out until Monday. Monday show will not be a monkey shit Monday. We are going to continue on with the pressurization of Biden and his family. Monday, I got a special treat for those that are paying attention to this information. But let's end this with this video right here.
This chart shows the average corporate profit margin. In the past, profits were in the single digits, leading into several recessions, including 2001.
That was a business-driven recession where companies overinvested. They decided they had to cut back in order to rebuild their profit margins, and that led us right into a recession.
The bubble has now burst. I would not argue yet that we've seen the bottom in NASDAQ or in our tech index.
So are we back in one of those cycles? In some ways, it doesn't look like that because profit margins are so high right now.
Not only are corporate profits in double digits, but the amount of cash they have is close to $4 trillion. Analysts say that's a significant downturn buffer.
So with the fact that we have all of this loose money in the system, and the fact that people are going back to work because they have no other choice because they were forced to be laid off and now searching for new employment, these numbers are making what would easily look like recession numbers very confusing. But folks, don't get it twisted. This is a recession. And when the positive numbers really reflect its true face, then we're going to have a fucking problem.
Guaranteed.
And this is coming from a fucking high school dropout that pays attention. Well, I am finished with this round of Get Down. Walski, any last words? Are you finished with your predictions?
Yeah, I'm solid with those. I'm predicting the winter shutdown, and I think it's the last time we saw Joe Biden suited and booted speaking to the American public.
Which is a major... That right there alone is a major fucking prediction, because that is a horrible sign of the future. I'm gonna add to that prediction and predict that if there is a downturn in Joe Biden's health condition, I say that in loose quotes. I say that in loose quotes. If there's a downturn in his health condition, we will be seeing Kamala Harris step in as president, and that is going to be a horrifying fucking situation from there on out. We are still going to be we're still going to deal with the food shortage and the shipping crisis, which goes hand in hand and is a fucking problem. We're going to see that more and more as it gets colder and colder going into the winter months. And I think the depression, I think the recession will lead to depression. I think we may be looking at a year straight of recession, and possibly 2 years. If we go into a year and a half, I think if we go into a year and a half of recessionary rates, we are going to have to classify it as a depression. And that's my prediction.
I like it.
China will invade Taiwan before the end of this year. You heard it here first.
I agree with that. I heard that they actually have been rolling military equipment and tanks and shit on in a town in China bordering Taiwan.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Definitely going to happen before the end of this year. If that happens, then you can just fucking kiss shipping and receiving from China goodbye.
And I am no military strategist, but I do remember when Russia rolled tanks and shit up on the Ukraine border. What happened next?
I will argue that there will be no heavy sanctions against China, but that's another show. I will say that it will fuck up. That will totally obliterate a bleeding from the fucking arteries global economy. If China decides to go ahead and take Taiwan, that would just go ahead and be, I think that would be the death knell of our global economy. And oh, holy shit, we're going to have to deal with that already in a recession. So you understand what I'm saying? So holy shit. Okay, so let's say we was dealing with this in a normal economy. China invades Taiwan. It throws us into recession. What happens when we're already in recession? China invades Taiwan, and holy fuck.
Yes. I think it's almost to the point where that has to be the play.
People, you cannot look at GDP without looking at imports and exports. You cannot look at gross domestic product, how it's distributed. Hello. They go hand in hand. And if you have a global shipping crisis, then you're going to have low numbers in your GDP. This is from a fucking high school dropout.
2 of them. I went to 4 different high schools and ended up with a GED. I don't even know how I did that.
All I'm saying is, all I'm saying is, bro, we have been paying attention since the very beginning. I think it is. I would say to anyone with the intellectual fortitude to do so, go check out these videos that we've done in the past. 6 months ago, War During Crisis, we spoke on Ukraine, the war with Russia, and how it would affect us. I think you should also check out, if you're interested, check out these two. You need to check out Face to Face Friday, Hyperinflation. And you definitely needs to check out The Cost of Power, the ruble versus the petrodollar. This is the episode where Jay Walski breaks it down. He breaks it down and tells you why the fuck the bubble pops. And yeah, the bubble has popped. We are in a recession. We were saying, we were giving you warnings. We were giving you warning signs so long ago. We were telling you when you were playing and wasn't paying attention. We were trying to tell you what it was. You know what I'm saying? Now we're here. You know what I'm saying? It's a recession, bro. So spend your money wisely. Pay attention to the clamorings and and the yappings in the news. Make sure you pay attention to what your fucking talking heads are saying, even if you don't agree with them. You know what I'm saying? There's you can't make a lie without the truth. So
absolutely. Yeah. And outside of the GDP, when it comes to the topic of OPP, my guy here told me earlier today that a chick in Atlanta got the monkeypox all over her lips. So another warning to the masses: if you got something at home and her lips don't look like a Skittles commercial, and your lips don't look like a Skittles commercial, I would strongly advise you to keep your intimate things right there at home. And if you a single man, be careful, bruh. Be careful.
Be careful, because it is a wild world out here. It is absolutely a wild world out here. Joe Biden, this is your fault. This recession is absolutely your fault. I blame you. I blame you from the Obama administration. Oh, that's how far I go with my blame with you, good sir. No, horrible sir, however you say it. You's a fucked up individual, man. And we know you did it all for the money. I can't wait for the information to come out. You should be impeached just for the fact that you are vice president having dinners with foreign fucking companies. Like, that alone, like, and you lied to the people and said you didn't do it. So yeah, that alone, you're a piece of shit in my book. But as far as this recession goes, and we're in a recession, yes, we are. This is yours. This is yours, and may you go down in history as the man that put us in recession in 2022. You piece of shit.
The great American death knell, Joe Biden.
Well, with that being said, G, we out, man.
We gone.
We could be in a recession.
We're not going to be in a recession, in my view. The employment rate is still one of the lowest.
We could be in a recession.
We're not going to be in a recession, in my view. The employment rate is still one of the lowest.
Somebody gotta say this shit, so this a bitch. Fuck your government. I'm hesitant to holler out that I'm in. I represent hollow points and Mac tears. Don't think them shots coming out of them. Last thing that you see is Nat Turner's grin. I'm a savage, not your average white boy, my friend. We ain't shooting. Fuck red, white, and blue. Earth day nerves like militias in the booth. Spit that word like the wisdom in the tooth. Get that herb like I need a blunt or two. Fuck y'all all, each and every one of you. You niggas wanna stay asleep? Fuck you motherfuckers too. All you niggas ain't loyal. Fuck the government soil. Bring heat to the planet to this motherfucker boil. There's no more talk. Through the grave y'all walk. I talk for the slave from the grave. It's war.